We was on the bottom, yeah. Now we headed to the top. You love it. On my level, don't see anybody. I don't see him. This right here could never stop. This could never stop. Hey, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Hey, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Hey, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. Hey, this right here could never stop. Hold up, nah, nah. One time. Hey. I live on the job, right? Yeah, I'm always at work, right? Real people stay by me, right? Haters wanna do hurt, right? Know they tryna stop me, right? Drag my name through dirt, right? I don't feed into the hate, right? I just answer with a smirk, facts. I feel so special, facts. I know my worth, facts. My bloodline royal, facts. We the kings of the earth, right? You can't stop this, nah. You can't stop this, no way. Yo.
Hey sis, how you doing? How old are you? 24? So your question was, why isn't the black woman protected? Who is supposed to protect the black woman? The black man, right? In Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Let's say you're 24. God ordained structure in the Israelite community. There's a certain way we're supposed to govern ourselves, right? I'm going to show you something pertaining to the woman. How God designed the woman to operate. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 verse 16. Until the woman, which you are,
right? Read.
He said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
Right.
And thy desire.
Thy what?
Thy desire shall be to thy husband.
The woman's desire is supposed to be towards her husband. Meaning everything. Everything. Protection, home, clothing, everything that you need should come from the black man. But you see in society today, we say Negroes ain't, what was that? Niggas ain't shit. We hear that all the time. That is pushed in our sister's mind so we don't even look at the black man for anything. Instead, we look at the white man who's killing the black man, who's poisoning the black man, who's injecting the black race with fake viruses. That's who the black woman wants to call 911 for protection from.
You know?
Go back to the Willie Lynch letter. I'm gonna show you the importance of why the black woman does not have protection. Read that again right here.
The Willie Lynch letter, page 18. We have reversed the relationships.
So, read the title of the book. Watch this, so you know what we're reading. Read.
The Willie Lynch letter and making of a slave.
The making of a slave. You know when you're about to make a cake, there's a recipe to make that cake correct.
Right.
This is the recipe to make the slave submit to the white, to submit to the white man's children, to submit to the white man's dog. This is the recipe that they installed in our mind.
Right.
And this is specifically towards the woman. Read.
We have reversed the relationship.
First, reverse everything that she knows. If she thinks the black man is honorable, reverse that and say Negroes ain't. That worked. That worked. If back then they depended on the man for shelter, guess what? Now, Negroes ain't ish. Negroes ain't smart. Negroes can't read. Negroes don't love their children. They reverse the minds of our sisters to look at the person that looks just like them. He ain't ish. My father, he ain't ish. My uncle, he ain't ish. They reverse the minds of our sisters. Read.
In her natural, uncivilized state.
It is natural for the woman to depend on the man.
Right.
Read.
She will have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. And she will have a limited protective dependency.
A limited protective. Read.
Dependency toward her independent male offspring.
You hear that? To now, they did such a good job on blending this recipe up in our sister's mind,
right,
that I can't even trust him no more.
Right.
I can't even trust the black man anymore. That's how the women think. That's how women think. He looks good, but he's gonna cheat on me. He's a nice man, he's smart, he goes to work, but he might cheat on me. Read.
By her being left alone.
By her being left alone, that translates to her being an independent woman. All my single ladies, like Beyonce says, empower yourself, single ladies, for a woman to have that independent mind state. Unprotected, with the male image destroyed. With the male image destroyed. 1 Corinthians 11:3. This is why the officer brought out to you, Jesus Christ looks like this. First, okay, we know what their God looks like, and he's a man. You know what? Let's start by destroying that man's image.
Right.
Not only did they destroy our aunties, our uncles, our grandfathers, our brothers' image, they destroyed Christ's image.
Right.
To where now we even depend on the white man for salvation.
Right.
We depend on the white man for religion. We depend on the white man for hope. It's not only for protection. Every avenue, if you break down the image of the black man, you won't depend on him for anything.
Right.
1 Corinthians 11:3.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the head of Christ, the head of every man is Christ. The leader of the men is Christ.
Right.
Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head, the leader of the woman is the what? Who's the leader of the woman? The man.
Right.
So, sister, in order for you to be protected, in order for you to get understanding and knowledge, you need a man to guide you.
That's right.
Right.
You need a husband to guide you, not a boyfriend, girlfriend, none of that. Not no, yeah, he looks cute. He's in my DMs. None of that. He's a drunk.
Right.
He sells weed on the block. That's not somebody that can lead you correctly.
Right.
That's not somebody that's going to lead you to be a better woman. That's not somebody that's going to defend you when it's time for protection. You need a real man, a godly man.
Right.
Deuteronomy chapter 28. Because we read all of this, they destroyed us in slavery. They reversed our minds. How do we get our minds back? How does a woman listen and understand, whoa, they really did reverse everything that I know? How do you get your mind back? Right, exactly. When will black lives really matter? We're walking, we're marching, we're this, that, and the third. We're voting for Biden, but we still in weed.
Right.
But I don't like her because she thinks her lashes are longer than mine.
Right.
She thinks her Brazilian is longer than mine. Why? What do we have to do to get our minds back? Okay, so we gotta, first and foremost, we must go into the Bible.
Right.
This is the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American history book.
Right.
You go to the library, it's easy for a Chinese man to go into the aisle, find his history. Easy for the Caucasian to go into the aisle, find his history. The Arab, any shelf he wants, he'll find his history easily. But our people, you want to find out about history? Google it, cotton fields. Google it, sugarcane fields. Google it, lynched on a tree. That's what they show us in our history. Not knowing that this Bible belongs to us.
Right, right.
Jesus Christ, that is black history.
Right.
He is a black man.
That's right.
Get Matthew chapter 18 and verse 4. I'm going to show you how to get your mind back. Because what is your nationality? African American, right? In slavery, when we came here on slave ships, they said, no. We can't let them call themselves African American. Oh, excuse me, Israelites from the tribe of Judah. We need to give them a new name. Let's give them African American, then let's beat them and give them the last name Smith. Give them the last name Johnson. Give them the last name Green.
Get out. That's right.
Our people not only do they not have their mind, they don't have their identity. Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself.
Step one to getting your mind right, you have to humble yourself. Everything that you learned in Christianity, we need to understand that it is a lie.
Right.
Humble yourself, sister.
That's right.
To the Bible. Read.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child.
As this little child. Christ gives a reference as a little child, right? When you have cousins, nephews, anything like that, when they ask you a question and you give them the answer, they're like, man, she's smart. She knows what she's talking about. They believe you.
Right.
You have to be as a little child. When it's time to learn, you understand what's getting brought out to you, so that way you can get the wisdom of what is taught.
Right.
That's how little children are. You tell them, hey, look, the sky is blue. I guess so. The sky is blue. That's how you have to be. That's how you get your mind back. Get Deuteronomy 22:5. Okay. So I'm going to give you a commandment of God. How to get your mind back. Watch this. This is a law pertaining to the woman. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So this is a law, right? I'm going to read it back from the top again. Watch this.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So God has a dress code for women. A dress code. Watch this.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
When you look at, per se, the rap industry, right? You see who's rapping now on the stage. They wear dresses. You got Lil Wayne wearing a dress, Young Thug wearing a dress, basketball players wearing dresses now, and they say it's fashion. But dresses belong to who? It belongs to women.
Right.
That's why God says what?
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so,
All men that wear dresses
are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Do you know what an abomination is? Not human. An abomination is a detestable thing. One that God hates. Men wearing dresses, God hates that.
Right.
Kick you in the fire. He does not want to see it. Go back to Deuteronomy 2 from the top. Because we read what belongs to men, or what men shouldn't be doing. So this is for the woman.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So if dresses belong to women, what belongs to men? Pants.
Right.
Pants
That's
belong
right.
to men.
Bring it out.
So our sisters wearing pants is an abomination.
Right.
God does not like that. God hates when women wear pants. And another thing, when women wear pants, what type of mindset do you think that would put on a man? On a woman. When women wear pants, of course, pants, whatever pants, short pants, long. I tell you, you ever heard the saying, I wear the pants around the house? What does that mean? Right, but what does it mean? We hear it, but what does it mean? You're in the position of authority. So when a woman puts on pants, she's telling the man, I'm in the position of authority. I am over you. That's out of order. Women should not be wearing pants. It is an abomination. And like I said, we come out here to teach our people what's wrong with what we're doing to change them. The reason why these men are out here in this community not protecting the woman, they're on drugs. They're waving the guns, they're doing music videos, they're smoking weed, they're drinking lean. That mindset can't protect the woman.
Right.
That's why we're Israel United in Christ. We come out here to provide solutions for our people. To tell our people, this is what you must do to get protection from God.
Right.
We come out here to let our people know, hey, don't walk across that bridge. You will die. That's protection.
Right.
Right.
When you warn the people from their wicked ways, that is protection.
Right.
Give me Ezekiel 3:17. The Bible warns us to do this. Then I'm going to give you another commandment. So, do you understand why the black woman is not protected today? Why is that? Okay, so that's what the men are doing. So what are the women doing wrong? Why? Okay, Deuteronomy 28:15. I'm going to show you another reason, another component, which is correct. What you said is correct. A woman does need a man to guide them. But a woman also needs to have knowledge of God. Because a man can guide you on how to rob a bank properly. Is that what you want to learn? That's going to lead you into destruction. So if you have a man that's going to guide you, you need him to guide you in the laws of God. What to do correctly. To be a husband, not a boyfriend, to take care of your wife. To take care of your children. Not as soon as the baby come out, child support. I couldn't wait for this baby to come out so I can drop the child support. I'm about to get this check. Then go to the next man, have another baby, and put him on child support too. That's destroying our neighborhood. To now the children, they grow up, they don't know who their father is. They don't know who their role model is. And on top of that, their mother is telling him, Negroes ain't ish. I heard a saying, women hate men, but they are breeding the men that they hate. They hate men, but they're giving birth and training that boy to be the same man that they hate.
Right. That's right.
That's what's going on in our community.
Right.
Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
The Lord spoke to us way during the time of Moses. He said, this is what's going to happen in the future. 2021. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
This is what's going to happen if we don't listen to God's laws. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
How many commandments?
All his commandments.
My pastor said, all I got to do is 10 commandments.
All his commandments.
The pastor told me all I got to do is love everybody.
All his commandments.
God says we got to do all his commandments.
Right.
You understand how serious that is? If we don't do that, what would happen?
And his statutes are commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
If we don't do God's commandments, all these curses would come upon us. God was speaking to the Israelites.
Right.
You are an Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
That's right.
You're not African American. African American was given to us in slavery.
Right.
When they beat us, raped us, burned us, hung us on trees, and they said, you know what? That is an African American.
Bring it out.
But God calls us the Israelites.
That's right.
That's who we are. If we don't do what he said, verse 68, this is what would happen to us if we don't listen to our God. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
When you read the Bible, Egypt means slavery. What happens in slavery? What happens in slavery?
Body armor.
They force you to work. How much do they pay you? What do they feed you? What do they teach you?
Hey, press.
They completely destroy you
Hey, can I
in
get
slavery.
Yeah.
God warned us if we don't keep his commandments, that's what we would go to. That's what we would go through. No education,
All praise.
false religion, beaten, whipped, abused verbally, physically, all of that for breaking God's commandments. Read that book. I'm going to show you history. Because our people, they say, if you want to hide something from a black person, where do you put it? You got to throw it in the book. Read.
This is from Babylon and Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. Page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey.
Do you know who the Romans are? If I was to say describe a Roman, how would he look? A helmet? What race? A Roman. How about a Greek? What does a Greek look like? I'll help you out. The Romans are Caucasians today. The Romans of back then are the white Americans of today. That's who the Romans are. Read.
In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Captured the Jews, our people. The Romans, the Caucasians, captured our people. Read.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter during the period of the military governors of Palestine. Many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated.
So during this time period of this slaughter, of this conquering of the Jews, there was an estimation of
over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
1 million Jews that were in Jerusalem fled into Africa. So Jerusalem, when you look at the map, Jerusalem is up here. This is Africa, right? It's right here. We fled to the west coast. That's why when you read the history, what does it tell us? They got us from the west coast of Africa. The Romans came against us and pushed us deeper into Africa. Get Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. Do you understand what's going on historically? The people of Jerusalem fled to Africa. And the Caucasians came and shipped us to America. So watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt,
which is slavery. The Lord will bring us into slavery again
with ships.
How did we get to America? On cargo slave ships. This history is in the Bible. Do you see all these feet packed on a boat? That is our bloodline. Those are our relatives. That is our family that was packed on a ship and brought to America. Read.
With ships.
And this happened to the Israelites.
Right.
This happened to the people that's calling themselves African American, but they're really Judah. That's our history. The Judites went into slavery on slave ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We would never see our homeland again. You ask people today, where do we belong? If we were kidnapped and brought to America, where is our actual homeland? Because we don't belong here. So where's our home? Exactly, but where in Africa? Nope. Remember, we were forced to the coast. In Jerusalem.
Right.
That is our homeland. Finish reading.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
We would never see Jerusalem again. Never. Now we're planning trips to go to Nigeria,
Ghana,
Mozambique,
Ghana,
Madagascar. We're planning on all these things to go to Africa, but we don't know where in Africa we belong. We belong in Jerusalem. That is our home. Read.
And there you shall be sold.
As soon as we got off those boats, sister, we were sold. We were sold. Sister Chelsea, look at her. $20, $20, $30, $40. Sold. So what's your last name? Wellen? Quaylen? I'm sorry. Doyling. So Sister Chelsea was sold to Master Doyling.
Right.
That's what happened. He picked her. She's going to be a slave on my cotton field.
Right.
That's what happened to us. Read.
And there he shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who?
Your enemies.
We don't have friends that sold us into slavery. The people that sold us into slavery is not who God is telling us to love.
Right.
They are our enemies. Read.
For bondmen.
For slave men.
And bond women.
And slave women. And why did this happen again? Why did this happen to us? Because God told us this is what's going to come to pass if we don't do all his commandments.
Right.
Not the 10, all his commandments. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. To explain to you the root of this before I let you go. Right? Because I'm going to show you what's going on in our minds. That's where it starts. We need to transform our way of thinking. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. The Christian pastor won't read the Bible to you like this.
Right.
He's going to read John 3:16. After that, close it, dance, beat your tambourine, pass the plate. That's what goes on in church. They will never read to you about slave ships. They would never read to you who should protect the black woman.
Right.
They will never read to you that Jesus Christ is black. They won't read that to you. It's business. It's all about money. Read that.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice.
Laying aside all malice. That's how we transform ourselves to be correct with God. Do you know what malice means? Spitefulness, right? So what happens when somebody has the attribute or the characteristic of being malice? It makes them evil-hearted. So watch this. I want you to read the definition of malice. Read that.
Malice, desire to cause pain.
The desire to cause pain. Read.
Injury. Or distress to another.
Or distress towards another. Examine our community. When you look at the blacks that actually have a family, what goes on in that house? Verbal abuse. They force the action of causing harm one to another. Physical abuse, rape, even child abuse, beating their kids. You look like your father. That's malice. Anything that happens, we itch to I should have said this. Right after that argument, if I said this would have caused so much more injury to him. This would have caused so much more injury to her. In our mind, we are filled with malice.
Right.
And I know you're probably thinking, damn, I am kind of like that. Read that again.
Right. Malice, desire to cause pain.
Now read the Bible. 1 Peter 2 and 1.
1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside.
God says you need to lay that aside. That is not a characteristic of a godly woman. God says that malice spirit, that desire to cause harm to your people, put that away. Read.
Laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisy.
And hypocrisy. Read.
And envies.
And envies. You know what goes on in our community. She thinks she's all that. You see these common phrases that go on in our community? They're boiling up malice. They're boiling up hatred in our community. Do you think Betsy or Miss Betty thinks that all the other white women are all that? They don't. They say in their mind, man, I gotta elevate myself and do better. But the black, when somebody's doing better, she thinks she's all that. Why doesn't she be a bum like me? Why doesn't she hate her family like me?
Right.
We need to lay all of that aside. That is plaguing our community.
Right.
That is destroying us. The hatred of one another.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.